Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Today we'll be talking about how to get a higher ROI by optimizing your campaign's performance. So just a little bit of information about ourselves. My name's Adam. I'm the onboarding manager here today at Zeropark. I help a lot of new advertisers, experienced advertisers in learning how the platform works, learning how the industry works to help them get the best results for their campaigns. That's through starting out all the way through to running a successful long-term campaign. I'd like to also introduce to you today my colleague, Carolina, who's the customer success manager at Zeropark.
Hi guys, as Adam mentioned, I'm working with customer success team and I'm providing support to our users and also extended onboarding for more advanced advertisers. And as Zeropark is a self-serve platform, my job is to make our users ready to use the product on their own in the most effective way. A few words about Zeropark. Zeropark is a high-quality traffic network offering large volume of traffics. And we offer various solutions for programmatic advertising and a large inventory of traffic across multiple ad formats, including native in-app, domain redirect, pop traffic, and push and in-page push ads. Okay, so let's check what we'll learn today. The first thing is why tracking is essential to campaign optimization, top metrics to monitor when running your campaigns, how to manage your budgets and bidding strategy during the optimization process, how to boost the CTR of your ad creatives and landing pages, how to fight creative fatigue and market saturation. And in the end, we will give you some tips and tricks for optimizing your campaigns to profitability.
So guys, why do we need to optimize our campaigns? Basically, unfortunately, we're not all made out of money. So we need to make sure that every single dollar counts, that we know what's working so that we're spending our money on the top performing results, on the best data, on the best campaigns so that we're making as much money as possible. So basically, the essential way to do this is by having a tracking solution. So by having a tracking solution, you'll be able to identify and analyze the data that you're buying, so the traffic. As a result, you'll be able to identify the different traffic filters, get different insights on your campaign's performance, on what's working, what isn't working. By using a tracking solution, you'll be able to use Zeropark's rule-based optimization. And this is basically an algorithm which helps you in optimizing and managing the performance of your campaign. With that as well, you'll be able to identify the top performing sources and targets which are converting the best for your campaign. So basically, that's all well and good. But what we need to do is we need to be able to first know what we need to be monitoring on our campaigns. And to start off with that, the easiest way to do this is through sources, targets, as well as custom bidding. However, to be able to identify all of this, what we need to do is we need to set up a run of network campaigns. So the idea here is to start as broad as possible so that you can identify what's working, what isn't working for your campaigns, and then slowly work on narrowing that down to identify, for example, the top performing traffic sources, the top performing traffic filters for your campaign, so that you can get more and more detailed results. And just on a side note with all of this, when we're looking at, sources, targets, it's really important to keep an eye on both of those, sources and targets, but to be able to identify the difference between that. When I speak with a lot of new advertisers as well as experienced advertisers, a common error that people have is that misunderstanding of what a source is and what a target is. So the best way to explain it, the best way to describe how it all performs is that a source is, if you imagine like a giant tree where the trunk of the tree is the source, so the publisher feed, and then you've got the branches of the tree, which are the targets, the website ID. So as a result, if you think about it, branches fall off a tree all the time. So targets tend to have a shorter life cycle, whereas the tree trunk tends to be more solid, more sturdy, so it tends to run for a longer period of time. As a result, you get a lot longer reliability, a lot longer life out of a source than you do from a target. However, the other downside is that the target tends to be a lot more precise. So a lot more precise targeting. However, it tends to have a shorter life cycle. So the amount of traffic can be more volatile as opposed to a source. So that's always something to remember. I generally recommend to run to identify the top sources and then manage those individual targets on a more personal, individual level based on those performances. So
that's right. Let's speak about things you should monitor during running your campaigns. The first one is click-through rate, also known as CTR. And CTR helps identify what percentage of users click on your ads compared to how many times it was shown. You can find CTR percentage in the creative section or the source target section of your campaigns. And CTR is a great tool, especially for push campaigns, as it helps you to monitor the level of engagement for your offer based on creative, source, or target CTR. Unfortunately, there is no desired CTR. It varies depending on the overall performance of your campaign. If you'd like to increase your CTR, it's important to focus on the performance of ad creatives and to keep them fresh.
Yeah. So just a quick tip when it comes to all of this information regarding the CTR. So the CTR, the way I see it, it's a great tool to assess the level of engagement that your offer or your creatives tend to have. So what this means is if your campaign isn't getting any conversions, any really strong performance indicators, you can always use this CTR to identify, for example, the sources or the targets which tend to have a higher CTR. As a result, what this means is it tends to have a higher level of engagement. So therefore, you can identify which sources have a better chance of bringing in those conversions. As a result, bring in that better return on your investment so that you know which sources or targets to focus on.
Okay, the next thing you should monitor is the win ratio. Win ratio is a percentage of how many times you have bid on a source target and how many times you have actually won the action and got your ad displayed. This essentially helps to show how competitive your bid is on our platform. When it comes to testing a new offer, ideally you want to aim for a win ratio between 70 to 90%. This helps you to analyze the traffic and see which sources or targets and traffic filters are performing best for your campaigns. You should also focus on ECPA, which is effective cost per action. This is your average cost per conversion. This is essential to making sure your campaign is profitable, as you want to aim to have an ECPA lower than your payout. This helps assess whether the changes to your campaign are working in your favor or against you. It's essential to monitor the ECPA for any changes and cross-reference the data in your tracking solution to see what is performing and what is underperforming when making any changes to your campaign.
So when looking at this, a lot of advertisers tend to get confused the way that the win ratio and the ECPA perform. So a lot of people tend to focus heavily on that ECPA. As a result, they try to get it as low as possible, which the most common way is by simply decreasing your bid. Technically, that's a valid point of seeing it. However, what you need to remember is because that win ratio helps you in terms of showing how competitive your bid is against other advertisers on the platform, against similar settings or the same settings, you need to keep an eye that if you've got a high ECPA but a low win ratio, you need to look at slowly increasing that bid so that you're winning enough traffic on a source or target to see what the result would be on that ECPA. Similarly, if you've got a very good ECPA, but you're trying to decrease it even more, you want to start to look at that win ratio. Whatever changes you make to your custom bids on those individual sources or targets, you can then start to look at what effect this has on the ECPA. So the ECPA is a great tool in identifying whether the changes that you're making to your campaign are working to your favor or against your favor. But you still always need to look at not just those the growth and decrease, but also at that win ratio to see that you're winning an adequate amount, an ideal amount of traffic for your campaigns to be performing well, for your campaigns to stay healthy with the level amount of traffic, because it's very easy to start getting outbid on a specific source, on a specific target. And as a result, your ECPA increasing because you're simply winning less and less traffic, which as a result will not be bringing in those results that you would like. Similarly, you can look at that win ratio to see which sources, which targets tend to have higher levels of competition. As a result, those more expensive sources tend to have a lot more competition, which as a result tends to be an indicator that they are performing a lot better than other sources, other targets for advertisers. And that brings me into budgets. So a general rule that I like to have when it comes to running and setting up a budget for your campaign is to have a minimum daily budget of $100. The reason for this is you want to be able to run your campaign for a long enough period of time so that you can identify what time of day the campaign is working best. Now, that does sound like a lot of money, but when you consider that you can set up budgets on the source level, say, for example, with a minimum of $20, so that you can set a cap on how much each source spends, so that each source, when running a campaign, has an equal opportunity in buying enough traffic, have an equal opportunity to perform. Or if you're running a pop or domain campaign, you can also set a minimum target budget of $5. What this helps you to do is set up the same chances, opportunities that the target has for an equal opportunity to perform. And all of that you want to be able to run for the campaign for about 4 to 5 days. This is similar to why we have that minimum daily budget of $100, so that you can stretch that campaign out throughout the week to identify what time of day, what day of the week performs best, so that you can look at where the campaign performs the best, so that you can have enough data, enough information to start making some significant decisions when it comes to campaign optimization. And this brings me over to bidding, which Carolina will now take over.
Okay, when we're already speaking about money, we can go to the bidding section. What is important here is to regularly check your win ratio and ECPA and analyze whether you should be increasing your campaign bid. You can always check our traffic calculator or ask our support team for recommended bids based on your offer and campaign tips. When setting campaign bids, you should always bid slightly above the suggested amount. Once you spend a portion of your daily budget, you should review the results and bid up on the sources that have a win ratio below 50%. If there are no winning impressions, it may be because your bidding is too low. Adjust the bid based on the win ratio and profitability. If one of your sources is winning 100% of traffic, then you might try to slowly decrease the bid to see if you can keep the win ratio high with slightly cheaper bids. Okay, now I think we can go to the creative tips, because when running a campaign, either testing traffic or scaling and improving the performance on an already tested campaign, it's important to regularly update and edit the ad creatives that bring the most conversions or have a high CTR. This helps you as the advertiser to see what is working graphically and enticing users to click on your notification. Pre-landers are not necessary, but highly recommended. Users get to see them before they actually see your offer, and they're a great tool for convincing them to register or make a deposit, depending on the offer.
So just a quick insight on this as well. Whenever you're running different creatives, landing pages, pre-landing pages, it's always important to do A/B testing. What this means is if you've got two different options, run both options, because you might identify that option A performs better on specific days of the week, specific times of the day, where option B performs better at different times, vice versa, for example. And so what this does is this allows you to gather more data, more insight into what the user, are looking for, so that you can look at targeting them more precisely. We also have some other tips when it comes to improving the CTR, such as tracking the performance of your creatives. So basically what you want to do is you want to keep rotating them every couple of days. So when it comes to push, I tend to recommend rotating them every 2 to 3 days. With that, making minor changes based on those results. Whatever minor changes you're making, as small as they are, it might be changing a couple words here and there. It might be changing the image of the creative or the landing page. Basically keeping a record all of that. So what I recommend is either using some kind of spreadsheet or Word document to basically have a copy paste track of the results. So clicks, spend, conversion, ECPA, whatever it is, CTR even, so that you can say, okay, look, my push creative 1 performed XYZ. Push creative 2, that I made these minor changes, performed a little bit better because I changed these words around, I moved the pictures around, so whatever it is, you've got a record of it. That way you can see how your creatives are evolving based on the level of engagement, based on your campaign's performance.
Okay, the next tip is match the mood, season, or trend. So you basically should just adjust your visuals to match various holidays and seasonal trends. For example, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. What's also important is to speaking the language. Just like with seasonal targeting, make sure your creatives match the languages of the country you're targeting. Using English for your creatives, but targeting a non-English country will most of the time result in low performance and users are not able to read your offer. Emojis tell stories. As often repeated with push ad creatives, don't forget emojis.
So you may have seen it on our Zeropark's website, for example, where you've got the information about onboarding with me and with Carolina. There's testimonials on that website. What those testimonials do is they help to convince you why our product, why our service does so well. So you can take that same idea, that same concept, and put it into your offers. So for example, if you're selling, for example, any kind of neutral offer, weight loss or whatever, testimonials can help you out with that by proving to the user how effective, how useful, how valuable your offer can be. The same by having an idea, a feeling of a fear of missing out. So what we call that is a FOMO. And what that does is show you why people need to be able to quickly jump on your product, jump on your service, jump on your offer, because they don't want to miss that chance to get that that success.
Also, you need to be authentic. Real images work better than cartoons, but well-designed and professional-looking visuals work for landers too. With push ads, simple icons work best.
So, a similar thing like with that fear of missing out, by challenging your audience. So for example, if you look at a lot of survey and sweep offers, even a lot of gambling offers, they have that challenge of, hey, we've got this great offer right now. Find the magic box to win that free phone. Find that magic box or spin that wheel to get that free card, or sign up now and win the chance of whatever product or service you can get. So by creating that image, you get that hook, that hunger for the user to be desired, to win, to get that product.
Okay, also give them a sneak peek. Preview what awaits users if they engage further. What is worth to do is also create a sense of urgency and prompt users into taking actions. On the next slide, we will talk about how to fight creative fatigue and market saturation. So certain geos, usually the ones with the tightest competition, like Tier 1 countries, suffer from market saturation. This means there are simply too many advertisers targeting the same location, and CPC prices are over the roof to win the bids. But it also means that there are often too many similar offers, and people are simply fed up seeing the same ads all the time.
So a little trick that I tend to recommend. So if you look at our traffic calculator, if you look at anywhere where you're looking at the average bid, the amount of traffic, you can see tier 1 tends to be the most expensive, simply because there's the highest demand there. So as a result, it can get very difficult simply from the level of competition, because of that average cost that you need to invest in making sure that your campaign is performing well, can result in losses. So rather than looking at, where the best countries are, so for example, tier 1, where you've got the highest demand, the highest payouts, you might look at, let's say, for example, tier 2 or tier 3 countries. Let's say, for example, you're looking at the Philippines, where the average bid can be a little bit lower, a lot lower in some cases. And as a result, there's a lot less competition, for example, because there's just less demand for that traffic. So there's less, the bid tends to be a little bit lower. Now, if you look at Philippines, like I mentioned, a lot of users are able to read English. So changing your offer from the US to targeting the Philippines, you can have a lot less competition. You don't need to worry about translating your offer. So there's no issue of miscommunication right there. And then what you can do is you can target that country and have a better chance of a stronger performing campaign, simply because you're not paying as much per click or per visit that you would be in a tier 1 country. So there's always that to remember.
The most common issue is also running the same offer and using the same ad creatives without rotating them, as it causes ad fatigue among the viewers. You always need to keep the offer fresh by updating or rotating your creatives and landing pages.
So just like how Carolina said, rotating the creatives, rotating those landing pages to keep that offer fresh. But also, sometimes it's important to switch from a source campaign back to a run campaign. If you think about it, you're optimizing your campaign, you're identifying the top performing sources or targets, and you're running your campaign for a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. And you start to see that performance is going down, because there's just simply, you're constantly bidding on those exact same sources. You're constantly showing the same offer on those exact same sources. So there can be some fatigue on that, for that offer within that. So switching back to a run of network campaign, and then re-identifying maybe new sources or new targets which are performing better, that might have stronger performance or similar performance, can help to revitalize, re-energize your offer, rather than just simply rebuying the same stock.
After testing and analyzing the performance of your campaigns, advertisers should be checking the collected data to see which campaign settings perform best. Making changes here will affect your ECPA, hopefully by decreasing the average cost per conversion. In the next few slides, we will focus on traffic filters, day parting feature, conversion capping, and rule-based optimization. So,
because you guys tend to be very experienced advertisers, right? So I'm sure you all know what traffic filters are, right? So being able to identify desktop traffic, adult or non-adult traffic, what browsers are performing best, what OSs or OS versions are performing best, even specific mobile carriers. Some offers might require specific mobile carrier targeting. Some offers you might see that specific mobile carriers simply just perform best, depending on the angle of the offer.
When running new offers, you can always reach out to our support team for some insights, but also to your affiliate network to check what traffic filters have been performing for other users who promote the same offer.
And like I mentioned earlier with the budgets, running that campaign for a couple of days, 4 to 5 days, ideally at the minimum, but even longer, you might start to see trends in the campaign. So being able to identify, for example, what time of day is working best, what day of the week is performing best, can really help your campaign in running at the most efficient times.
Departing is a very overlooked feature that can help greatly in improving the performance of your campaign. Keep an eye when running your campaigns for trends in performance spikes and dips throughout the day and week. We tend to recommend optimizing this once you have the campaign running for at least a couple of weeks. Okay, let's speak about conversion capping. A conversion cap is a limit of allowed conversions per day. It resets at midnight in the offer's time zone. Once the cap is reached, an offer will not convert again. So spending traffic to this offer is pointless. That's why being able to set the same cap in the Zeropark platform prevents you from spending money on the traffic and conversions you wouldn't get your money for, thus saving you both budget and time. The conversion capping feature allows Zeropark to automatically pause your campaign when a cap is reached. For that to work, you need to have a conversion traffic set up correctly.
So guys, rule-based optimization. I know we mentioned it at the very beginning. I know I touched base on it throughout the presentation, but really, if you think about it, right? When like we went back to those targets or those sources, you can have hundreds of targets to one source. So if you think about it, you're running a campaign, you've got 20 sources that you're buying traffic from. As a result, each source can have a couple hundred or even 100 sources, targets at the minimum, let's say. It can get very hard to manage those targets. It can get very difficult managing one campaign, let alone running a number of campaigns. So with our rule-based optimization, you can set specific parameters to make sure that the campaign is running efficiently, to help you the best way possible. So for example, we've got some examples here, right? So you've got, if a target pays more than 2 times the spend and conversion is lower than 1 within the time limit, then to pause it, for example. What I strongly recommend when setting this up, let the campaign run first for a couple of days so you get a better understanding of how the traffic works, how the campaign performs, and then you can set the rules up. I don't recommend setting this up straight at the very beginning, although as much as tempted as you might be, because these rules seem awesome, you can set the rule up by accident as too strict. As a result, the campaign will underperform simply because you'll be chopping off a whole bunch of traffic at the very beginning. It's important to remember that some targets might not perform, some sources might not perform at the very beginning. So it's always important to give them a chance. Just like with anything, you got to give it a chance, let it spend some money, let it ramp up that speed, and then it starts to work. Just like if you're starting a car, you know, you push start it, it's not going to keep going. It's not going to go at the very beginning. Once it builds up that momentum, then it starts to perform, and then you really get that horsepower kicked in. It's the same with these rules. You need to give the campaign enough opportunity, enough time, so that you've got an understanding of how the offer performs, how the traffic performs to your offer, and then you can set these rules up accordingly. And basically what that takes us into is the summary. So just to quickly summarize, why do you need a tracking solution? 1, identify the traffic filters, identify the sources, the targets, get valuable insights in what's working, what isn't working, being able to track the performance of your campaign, not only on the traffic level source, but also once it goes further in on the actual performance, once they've clicked through a few pages as well. What we need to monitor on our campaign. So being able to monitor the CTR, the ECPA, the win ratio, all of that helps you in identifying where the strong areas of your campaign are, what you need to look at, what you don't need to look at, what's important, budgets, making sure that your campaign can be healthy from out the gate by having strong, healthy budgets, and as a result, a strong bid. Being able to be competitive on the top performing traffic sources, on the top performing targets. You need to have a strong bid so that it's competitive against other advertisers on the network. Making sure that you've got a strong bid will really help you in winning a serious amount of traffic, but at the same time, winning high quality, high performing traffic on the platform. And being able to optimize your landing pages, your creatives, your pre-landing pages, all of that information. So like I mentioned at the very beginning of those tips, keeping track of it. So either that's through your tracking solution, through the token creative ID or creative number, even keeping track of it on a spreadsheet so that you've got the data there, where you've got a screenshot, you've got the data where you can see physically how each creative has changed over time, helps you in identifying what the trends are when it comes to optimizing, when it comes to making changes. Testing. So all of that, like I mentioned before, whether it's testing through a broad range, monitoring what's working, what isn't working, making sure you've got healthy budgets for your tests, making sure you've got strong bids for your tests, making sure that you're testing, playing around, you're really giving that, I like to call it artistic integrity, coming through those creatives, through those landing pages, through those pre-landing pages, to make sure that you've got the best performing campaign you have available. And then once you've identified all of that, traffic filters, being able to cut out the traffic which is underperforming, whether it is, adult only or non-adult traffic, making sure that you've got the right performing traffic for that, desktop, mobile, OS versions, browsers, anything like that, being able to take advantage of it. And then once you've got all of that, a good hold on, a good understanding on, making sure that you're using our RBO, the rule-based optimization, so that our AI, our algorithm can help you in squeezing a better result for your campaigns, so that you can, it helps you in saving a little bit of time in cutting out the traffic which isn't working, based on specific parameters, based on specific results which aren't working. And
okay, let's repeat what's important when dealing with campaign optimization. So the first thing, launch broad campaigns first. Choose ROI targeting to get all traffic coming from a selected country. In this way, you will be able to identify top performing sources for your campaigns. Whitelists are great, but only if you know when and how to use them. Also, they work best if prepared for specific campaign targeting options you need to identify first. So don't forget to provide us with all details when requesting the whitelist. If you're interested in several geos, launch separate campaigns. Check what day parting works best for your campaigns and adjust accordingly. But do not do that while testing. It's recommended only for a much later phase and if much distinctive. If you're low on traffic volumes, try broader targeting. Don't forget to optimize your campaigns per browsers and OS versions. Be careful not to cut yourself from profitable traffic, just as with departing.
And guys, remember, all of the information which we covered today is very useful, very important. But remember, sign up to our industry forum rooms. So our social media manager, Magda, will always be able to write to you, help answer any questions on our forum posts or any post that you have questions regarding Zeropark. So you can always get some new inside tips, tricks, even help in your campaigns through those forums. Following and signing up to our webinars so you get the latest information on the latest features that we're releasing, the latest insights that we have for the traffic sources that we provide. Signing up to our YouTube video as well helps in going a long way in getting any of those video guides, video tutorials that help to explain and assist you in our platform. I also recommend sign up to our blog. Our marketing manager, Kinga, pours in a lot of energy, a lot of heart into writing those blog posts. She's dedicates a lot of time in getting the best insights that are possible. And as a result, also don't forget to sign up to those traffic insights. Where each week you get you get a list of the top performing traffic sources that are performing on the network. And that's across pop, push, domain, various verticals, various geos that those sources are performing in, but also those top verticals, top geos for those verticals articles on a weekly basis every Wednesday, so that you see what offers are performing the best, where you can make the most money, what the average bids are for those individual verticals in those individual countries, so that you can find the best offer for your network. And to summarize it all, let's open up with some questions and answers regarding the webinar. If you have any questions against anything that you had trouble understanding, we'll be able to help you out with that. And just to summarize it up, there we go. We've got the first question, which is, does the daily from Carol, does the daily budget influence the amount of traffic received from a given source, or only the bid? So the bid has a huge role to play when it comes to influencing the amount of traffic, because it affects the win ratio. So how much traffic you're winning. If you think about it as well, the daily budget does as well, because it helps to set a limit on how much money you're going to be spending throughout the day. So if you have a too little budget, let's say $20 throughout the day, then you're going to burn through all of your cash, and you're going to have the campaign running for a too short period of time to get any insight on how the traffic is performing. Does anyone else have any other questions? So we'll wait a couple minutes, and we've got, and does the budget influence the win ratio? No. So the budget doesn't influence the win ratio. It just helps to set a limit on how much the campaign or the traffic source or the target will be spending throughout the day. So we've got some more questions. Okay, so does anyone have any other questions? Maybe in the chat, something might pop up. There we go. So, Andre, when will be available to target push subscription age? So we don't have any demographic targeting on that. We do, however, have a couple of sources that you're more than welcome to reach out to our support team to get an insight based on some demographic insight on some sources. However, we don't offer any demographic targeting based on age, gender, nationality, anything like that. So we do have so Andre just asked a follow-up question, push subscription age. So basically when the users subscribe to the push notification, we don't have any open targeting for that, but once again, you can reach out to our support team, and they can send you a list broken up a number of different sources with the youngest push subscriber age, whether it's for the first 3 days after they've subscribed to a push notification feed, or a week plus, or within the first month, or so forth like that. So does anyone have any other questions? So as far as I'm aware, we don't have any plans on implementing this feature at the moment. We can take this offline. I'll be able to speak with the dev team tomorrow, and I can reply back to you via email. Please feel free to send that follow-up question to our support team at support@zeropark.com, and we'll be able to double check with our dev team on whether there are any plans in the near future of implementing this. All right, so V has another question for us where he says, I'm running CC sweep campaigns from Zeropark and I use volume for tracking. Every 2 days, my campaigns stop converting. There are any problems with domain bans, virus total clean, Google safe browsing check, clean CR, etc. Do you have the same problem? Can browser or local carriers block my domain? Can tracking domain be banned so fast? By the way, I see all IP clicks on affiliate network. So this seems like it's a bit of a more in-depth conversation in regards to tracking the campaign and overall campaign performance. It does seem to be a quite unique issue. So please feel free to reach out to support@zeropark.com. We will investigate the issue for you, and we'll be able to reach out to you and discuss further about what the issue may be. And Adrian just answered us, just asked us a question. Do you have any Zeropark reps on Skype? So, Adrian, I'm very happy to inform you that we do have Zeropark reps. We do have account managers which work on Skype. And account managers tend to be locked out to advertisers that spend over $2,000 a month. However, we do have me as an onboarding manager. We do also have Carolina, who is able to contact you on Skype. We do have that ability. So please feel free to reach out to us with your Skype ID after this webinar. And we can reach out to you on Skype and offer some 2 weeks of personal support to help you get a better understanding of the platform, to help you out with your campaigns as well. And Khalid Ali, can Saks give me insight on how to succeed with a tight budget of $400 a month? Yes. So we are able to help you out. Like Carolina mentioned, we are able to help you with whitelists. You're always free to write to us with your offer, with any restrictions the offer might have, so that we can provide some insights, whether that is through traffic filter targeting. So identifying what traffic filters you should have set up, what budgets would be set up, what countries are ideal to target with that specific offer. As well as a whitelist of the top performing traffic sources for your campaign.
Yes, as Adam mentioned before, the more detailed information you provide to us, the more adequate whitelist or recommendations we are able to prepare for your campaign.
All right. So does anyone have any other questions? Please keep them coming. I feel like I'm on a roll today. All right. So I think I see here from Amanda in the chat. So is my top bid or the overall top bid? I don't quite understand the question 100%. However, whatever the bid is that you have for your overall campaign is what you're going to be bidding for all of your sources. If you set up any custom bids on the individual source level or even target level, those custom bids will override your campaign bid. And as a result, you'll be bidding whatever that is. And V has another question for us. Does your company have an affiliate team? We don't have any affiliates which are running offers for Zeropark. However, our account manager team is well versed in all different types of offers being run on our network. They have all different types of insights for whatever it may be, whether it is sweep and survey offers, whether it is for crypto offers, whether it is for lead generation offers or neutral offers or gambling offers, sports betting offers, whatever types of offers it is, we are able to provide insights. You can always reach out to support and they can always send you guides. At the moment, we've got guides for sweep and survey offers. We've got guides for crypto offers. We also have guides for gambling and sports betting. And I think Amanda has another follow-up question to hers. is the top bid the highest I have bid, or is it the highest that is bid on all the buyers on this target? So the way that the bidding system works is whatever bid you have set for the campaign or for your target or source will be whatever you'll be paying per visit or per click for that traffic source, or for that offer that you've got for that campaign that you've got running. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? So Andre, we don't have any retargeting options for positive or negative retargeting. As far as I'm aware, there are no plans for any retargeting options at the moment, but always please keep an eye out on to the blog, to our newsletters for any announcements of any implementations that might be released in the near future. All right, so if no one has any other questions, we'll wrap it up. I'll leave the Q&A forum open for the next couple of minutes. For the next couple of seconds, about 30 seconds or so. And please, I hope you all enjoyed on this. Hope you all enjoyed this webinar. Please feel free to email any feedback you have about the webinar to us, and sign up to all those newsletters, forums, webinars that we have. And you're always more than welcome to reach out to the support team. Carolina is more than happy to write back to you with any questions you might have. You can always feel free to reach out to support to get in contact with me so that we can discuss more one-to-one about your campaigns and how we can improve the performance. And with that, I'd like to end this forum. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please feel free to send back any feedback, and hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.